Hey, this is Fountain, and today I want to talk about how you can create sacred spaces. Now, as some of you may know, creating sacred spaces for things like ceremony and ritual has been around for a very long time. Humans have been practicing all sorts of things around ceremony and ritual, and often to do with particular cycles of, I guess most of them are centered around nature as well, or like cycles of like the human, if I can say. And I guess a lot of the time it's used to connect like with the world, with ourselves, with stars, with divine, with, well, all sorts. So let's just say that. Now, I've found ceremony and ritual for me to be really helpful for things like grief and also celebration. And some find them very transformative and also like a sacred way to, I guess, pause on life for a little bit. And I won't go too much into what is ceremony, what is ritual. That could be another video for another day if that needs to be done. Otherwise, let's get moving. So step one, what I would consider step one is intention. So you're wanting to look at forming some kind of protection, and also what it is that you actually want to bring forth or that you want to let go. And being reasonably clear in that too. So that can be obviously done in lots of different ways, especially with the protection, which we'll get more into as I talk more about some of the other steps. But just in having the intention to start off with, and that, you know, you only want certain beings or whatever to be in the space, and also you've got an idea of what it is that like you really want to let go of or that you want to bring forth. Now the second one is probably finding the space. So the quieter the better, and I know that's going to differ for different people. Like some people might have easy access to nature, while others, the quieter space might just be their bedroom. And it doesn't mean that it fits in one or the other, that it's not going to work or it's going to work better. It's just, you've got to kind of use what you've got. And I understand that if you're living in a city and you can't get to a nature spot, then sometimes your bedroom of your apartment might be the quietest space to do a ceremony or do a ritual. Now, the third step, I guess you could say, is focused a lot on senses. So the three for me is light, sound, and smell. So light, probably doing what to do with more like things like candles, or what kind of lighting do you want? Sound being, you know, do you want to have some music playing? Do you want it to be like pre-recorded, or, you know, are you into creating music yourself? Do you want to be, you know, playing some instruments or using different instruments throughout the ceremony, or even just open the ceremony? And then the last one is smell, and that's, for me, I like burning different kinds of plants, and like rosemary is very abundant where I live, so I create my own rosemary smudge sticks and burn that. But, you know, you might have some kind of incense that you like, or maybe some sort of aromatherapy style of like oils and things. You know, maybe you have some kind of like massage oils that you want to put on your bodies. Things like that are really good for the senses, I guess, that we sit in a lot with, and that can help create a nice sacred space for you. Now, next one is nature, and I guess that's just bringing it forth, especially if you're in a space where you're not really in nature as such, and doing the ceremony. So thinking about things like stones and crystals and flowers and like shells and feathers, and just things that you have collected around you. Obviously, if it's things that you've found, it's probably better, especially when it comes to things like crystals. I won't get into the ethics around that, and things like feathers, like you know, me personally being vegan, I wouldn't buy something like that. But if I found a feather on the ground, you know, that's probably just come off a wild animal, I'm not that fazed by picking it up and feeling and using it if I felt like it was necessary or to for something like this. So bringing as much nature as you can into the space. If you're in nature, you know, still doesn't hurt to bring a couple of maybe your favourite stones or things with you as well. Fifth step is, I guess what I would talk about is things like paper, pen, paint, voice. So paper being, you know, if you want to write things down and with pen, obviously, or if you're into more visually creating, like things like painting or drawing, then obviously you can use that. Or, you know, you can use the voice as well, like if you're really into singing or you want to maybe have some music that you like singing, or maybe you've written some songs, or maybe you channel light language and all sorts of stuff, because that'll help with the intention around what it is you want to bring forth and what you want to let go. So if, say, you had something that you wanted to let go and you wanted to visually represent that, you felt like that was the best thing to do and you wanted to paint that, so you could paint a picture of whatever that may be, you know, and you can use lots of different, obviously, materials. Like I said, you could write if you want, you could sing if you want, you know, you can create something in a representation of what it is that you want to let go or what it is that you want to bring forth. Now, for me, with things that I like to let go, I prefer to use the element of water, but that doesn't mean that has to be the case for everybody. And for things that I want to bring forth, I like using the element of fire. Water I've just found is really good for letting things go. I don't know if you've ever noticed when you go to the ocean or you're in a river, especially moving water, and you just get in, you kind of get out and you feel kind of like refreshed, or you're almost like new again. So I find it quite a cleansing element and good for letting things go. Like I grew up beside the ocean as a kid, and a lot of the time I knew when I was, if I was struggling with something, I just kind of knew the best place to go was to the beach by myself, and then I could just I didn't even have to get in the water, but just let things go. With fire, like when I think of fire, I think of like passion and it's a really good element for bringing things forth and really lighting them up. That's just a little tip there. If you feel like that could work well with you, then definitely use those elements depending on what intention it is that you're setting. Now the next one I want to talk about is things like mantras or prayers. So especially if you have like some kind of religious kind of background, or maybe not, maybe you just gravitate towards particular teachings and sayings. So you could use that obviously with what it is that you're letting go or what you're bringing forward as well. So, and then I would say the last step, being number 7, probably the most important one to finish on, is gratitude and giving thanks to kind of close the circle. So, you know, when you're opening the space, you might have called in like particular elements or ancestors or different things, and so then you want to, at the end, give time to say thank you to them, you know, for being there and helping you with the process. And they can, you know, like, it doesn't necessarily have to be like talking it, you know, you could write a song, you can play an instrument, you know, there's lots of different ways to do it, obviously, and I want to tell you what you can and can't do, but I just find it's always a really good way to close with, you know, a feeling of like gratitude, of thanks. And so that's, I guess, my tips on how to create a sacred space for ceremony and ritual. And I guess it's kind of a little bit like it could be a kind of a guideline, or give you some ideas about when you're in ceremony or ritual, what it is that you want to do and how you kind of want it to go. So anyway, that's the end of this vlog. So if you've got any comments or questions, you're more than welcome to leave them in the comment and question section down below. You can also contact me through my various social medias that I'm on, that are also in the description box down below if you're watching this on YouTube. And I will see you in the next vlog.